Well, that summer was pretty brutal. Just brutal. Hello and welcome to part 10 of It's Coming Home. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we're going to have a quick look at transfers. There's been a lot, as you can probably imagine. If you want a detailed look at all of the new signings, your best bet is to check out the Holme FC Twitter, Home_FC. We've got snapshots of every player profile of every player who's arrived over the course of this summer, but we will do a bit of an overview of that. And then we're going to play our first game of the new season, which is going to be at home to Hebburn, who I don't remember playing last season, so presumably Hebburn are new to the division. Let's try and work out who they are. I mean, who are they? What were they playing in last year? They won the Northern League. So is the Northern League's below us, I guess. So newly promoted Hebburn, you would expect us to be able to win that game, because if we have a look at the season preview, you'll see that once again we are one of the favourites to be promoted. 4 favourites, 3-1 odds. We have 3 players in the Media Dream 11, Dean Morris, Anthony Harris, as you'd expect, but Mick Powell has done a Mick Powell and is also in the Dream 11 as well. And actually, if we look at him on the star rating basis, he's now as good as Anthony Harris, apparently. We've got the 2 best strikers in the division. They both came through our youth team. They're both under contract for the entirety of this season, but we probably won't keep them for next unless we can offer them real money. Promotion this season has become a must if we're going to keep our youngsters together. And as we saw from the youth intake last year, although there's some potential in there, there's nobody in that youth intake who has the same current ability as the awesome players that we've got at the moment. If we have a look at the board expectations as well, everyone seems to have upped their expectations a little bit, despite the fact that we've got pretty much the same team we had last year. But the board are looking for us to get to the playoffs as an absolute minimum. Where are we? Reach promotion playoffs. So they want a top 5 finish, which should be doable based on how we got on last year. When I said that to the players, though, in our little pre-season meeting, they went nuts at how unambitious I was being. So I said, okay, we'll win the title then. A handful of them still didn't think that was ambitious enough. I don't know how they think league tables work, but the likes of Morris and Harris don't even think I'm being ambitious enough by trying to win the league. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but it's basically win promotion or have the entire team torn apart. And considering how this summer has gone for transfers, that would be an absolute disaster. Money-wise, we still have the same tiny budget that we had before. We've still got no money in the bank. So we're still not really able to offer any kind of salaries. I've upped my appearance fee limit. I was limiting it to like £40 or £50 per appearance last year. I thought, you know what? We're going for it. We'll offer up to £100 an appearance to some of these players now. But we still can't offer them any kind of salary. And that's why players are leaving. So we already know Jack Turnbull has left. He's gone to Southend under 23 specifically, earning £160 a week. But his midfield partner, Rob Davis, has also left to a divisional rival. He's gone to Carlton Town, and they're able to pay him £170 a week as a salary. If we have a little look at Carlton Town as well, look at all these players they've got on salary. We just cannot compete with that. This guy, we tried to sign him in the summer. I wanted Aaron Opoku, but they're paying him £300 a week as a salary. I mean, it's just ridiculous. He's valued at £42,500. Perhaps that's the gamble we need to take. Sign someone on that kind of salary, then sell him to get our money back. But it's just mad. I don't know where Carlton are on the pre-season prediction. Let's have a little look on the pre-season prediction thing that we were looking before. Carlton must be title favourites, surely. Carlton Town are predicted to finish 9th. I mean, these teams around us, what are they paying? Look at the state of all these teams around us, because they've got money. I don't understand. I mean, Grantham, that's cheating. That is just cheating. And then there's us, and we're paying that. And we can barely afford it. It's not a level playing field in the Evo Stick Northern Premier League Division 1 East. this season. So we've lost our midfield. Turnbull and Davis are both gone. Keelan Steenson has gone as well. He's a winger. We were never going to... The plan was never to go back to wingers this season, so I'm not that bothered that he's gone. And the others are players who never really got an opportunity anyway. So no major losses outside of Turnbull and Davis. The problem is we've not really been able to bring in any significant quality of player to replace them. If we just randomly pick any player from this list, I would suggest there'll be 1.5 star current ability on about £40 or £50 an appearance, maybe up to £80 an appearance. Some of them will have 5-star potential, but none of them are really good players who are going to come into our team. So let's pick one. Ned Dry, what a name. Ned Dry, there you go. 1.5 star current ability, maybe 4.5 star potential ability, but he's 3 years older than our 2-star strikers. He's never ever going to get an opportunity. He's our 10th best striker. We've brought him in purely to get numbers into the team for when players start getting dragged out of here. If we look at our team report and the squad depth, you'll see that all of the best players in every position are the players who were here last year. So our best strikers, the best 3, were all here last year. Best 3 attacking midfielders, all here last year, and they're all only 2-star. Central midfield, Whiting was here last year, Phillips was here last year, and is being converted into a central midfielder, because I think he needs to become my new box-to-box midfielder alongside Whiting. We've brought in a couple of new players, but they're not as good as what we had, and what we had was our reserve last year, so our midfield is noticeably weaker than last year. Defensive midfielder, Morris is still the best player in the division. Left back, this guy's here on trial, but we can't sign him permanently. Because if we have a look at how much, there you go. I've already tried to sign him and he wanted too much money. So McNally is still going to be out. Where's the team report thing gone? McNally is still our only real left back. Centre back, Morris is still our best centre back. Yeah, that's the same Dean Morris who's going to play there. So we're going with Smith and McNulty again. Right back, they were here last year. Goalkeeper, here last year. We haven't been able to sign a single player who's better than what we have. And having lost the midfield, we're a worse team than we were last year. And we've got to win the title. We need a few players to do a Mick Powell, and quick. So this is the team we're putting out there for the first day of the new season. It's a familiar system and mostly familiar faces. We've got Brannigan in goal, a back four of McNally, Smith, McNulty and Ellison, with Dean Morris. I've changed his role. I've made him an anchorman. Just because I want him to literally just sit there and protect these guys. We were a little bit porous at the back sometimes last year. I know he's our best player. I've made this decision late last night, and I'm wondering now. I think at the time I was going to play Phillips as a ball-winning midfielder in midfield, but I'm now training him to be a box-to-box midfielder. You know what? Dean Morris is going back to being a ball-winning midfielder. He's our best player. Let's play him in his best role. He can be a ball-winning midfielder on defend. Phillips is going to play as a box-to-box midfielder. He can't really do any role in midfield at the moment, but we are training him to play there. He's competent at the moment, but if we go to his training, we're training him to be a box-to-box midfielder. So I guess if we play him as that, hopefully he'll get good. It seems such a waste not to play him though, because he's a 3-star current ability midfielder, 5-star potential. He's better than every other midfielder at the club apart from Dean Morris. So it seems silly to spend another season having him sat on the bench as Morris's reserve. And I don't want to go back to having 2 holding midfielders again, because that was really negative and silly. Whiting alongside him. We signed Whiting last season. We mentioned at the time he was going to be our replacement for Jack Turnbull. He's not as good as Turnbull yet, but hopefully will improve with game time. Sheridan gets the nod as attacking midfielder today. It could be any one from 3 there. We are still struggling a little bit in that position, and obviously don't have James Hayter now to push up to a front 3. We could potentially bring Seth Patrick in and do that. The problem is Seth Patrick wants to play as a poacher, just like Powell does. We don't have any of our 3 decent strikers. None of them want to play in a supporting role now. So I think we are going to have to commit to the diamond, or maybe go to something with wingers again. But I don't see how we do wingers without sacrificing one of the strikers. 4-2-4 seems a bit ambitious. 4-4-2 is a bit... So I think we kind of committed to this for a little while, but we are having serious problems in this area here. But obviously Powell and Harris up front, they're the 2 best strikers in the division. Anthony Harris got 40 goals last year. Powell barely played. Imagine if they got 40 goals each this year. That, regardless of what's going on behind them, if they get 40 goals each and Dean Morris just does Dean Morris things, I don't think it matters who the other 8 players are. And that's kind of the basis we're going on for this season. I think that's a good plan. Hopefully, Hebburn are rubbish. If we lose today, we have got major problems because this is a team that we should be capable of beating. They're newly promoted. We were in the playoffs last year. If we struggle today, we may as well give up and go home because it's only going to get worse from here. So a team such as ours should be winning this match with no problem. That has not motivated anybody. Good work, Kev. Worryingly, my assistant manager did say before the match that against opposition like Hebburn, we should perhaps go to a cautious mentality. And that scared the niblets out of me because they should be one of the worst teams in the division. We're at home on the first day of the season. I know we've not been able to strengthen the team, but the media are still predicting a 4th place finish. My assistant manager is going, we might lose this one. Let's just play for a draw. And that terrifies me. Sheridan's already picked up a booking before we've had any kind of highlight, which is good work, really. I wonder what he did. Probably nothing useful attacking. We need an attacking midfielder. I've looked for loan players. There's 4 players who are willing to come and join us on loan, and they're all fullbacks. I don't want to bring in fullbacks. We did Trim Robson last year. He's one of the 4, by the way. He's happy to come back, despite never playing. Here is Sheridan. Oh, I was perhaps a little critical of him before. Mick Powell, at the second time of asking, does tuck it away. He gets his first goal of the season. Hopefully the first of many for Mick Powell this year. We need a big season out of Mick Powell after really wasting him last year. That was a great save. A great double save from their keeper. That was world-class goalkeeping. But Mick Powell's there to tuck it away and put us 1-0 up just before half-time. A perfect time to score. Tick it off on your cliché bingo cards. What we don't want to do is now concede a goal because it's a terrible time to concede. There you go. 2 marks on your cliché bingo cards. We're getting in quick with cliché bingo this season. Big ball forward from Brannigan and neither Harris or what's his name? What is his name? Powell. I wanted to say Patrick. He's the other striker. But neither of them were really awake to it. And now we've got Hebburn coming at us again. Is it Hebburn or Hebburn? I guess double B, Hebburn. Let me know down in the comments. Powell is in, though. Can he grab his second? Of course he can. Mick Powell, second goal of the season. Anthony Harris, he's not our top goal scorer currently. There was no point last season where Anthony Harris wasn't top goal scorer. He was there from the first goal. I think he got our first goal. From the first goal of the season, he certainly scored 2 in that first match. So from the first match through to the last, Anthony Harris was always top scorer. This is the year of Mick Powell. He's doing a Mick Powell. Imagine if he has another year progressing at the rate he progressed last season. He'll end up a Premier League player by Christmas. Right, that was a good first half. I am happy with that. Hand over to the assistant for the rest. See, that's motivated them. They like to be told they're doing good. They like a little pat on the head. Remember, this is largely a school football team. Most of them are teenagers. The likes of Harris and Powell and Morris, they've just moved up into upper 6th. Or year 13, for those of you, I mean, anyone who's abroad has no idea what I'm talking about. But old people like me, upper 6th. Young people, year 13. Second year of college. Home comprehensive. They're still, we've now got 3 of them. All classmates representing us as we try and get a promotion this year. I'm pretending they didn't just score because it's going to make me sad to acknowledge that they did. And I want positivity in this first episode after a terrible summer of transfers, which started super late, obviously, because the playoffs didn't finish until like November. And it never really got going after that. Very sad. Whiting, though. Big ball over the top for Powell to chase. He doesn't really chase it, though. Anthony Harris, if that's aimed at him, chases that. Harris, I still think, is the best player we've got, even though Dean Morris officially is. Anthony Harris can tear a team apart on demand, whereas Mick Powell, I mean, he is a poacher. They're different types of striker. I prefer the Anthony Harris type. Here is Harris, and there is Harris scoring an absolute beauty. Do a cartwheel, because no one else at this club, no one else in this league can do what Anthony Harris can do. Look at the state of this. Big kick forward from Brannigan. Powell flicks it on. Harris, 1 touch, then on his weak foot, look, there's the top corner. Huzzah! I'm still the main man around these parts. Mick who? I've just earned an Anthony Harris. Stick that on a t-shirt. Sheridan now with the corner. Smith is there, and Mick Powell's just got his hat-trick. He hasn't got a hat-trick. It's offside. I mean, he was literally skulking on the goal line, being a proper poacher. absolute definition of primary school goal hanger there from Mick Powell. And I mean, I don't mind him trying a little bit of that. Even though he was goal hanging, it was only offside by about 3 inches. That's a beautiful finish. I mean, I feel like this might be a good introduction to how our season might be. We will score an awful lot of goals with Harris and Powell. I need to learn his name. With Harris and Powell up front, we're going to score an absolute ton of goals. But with the defence that we've got and the lack of midfield in front of them, basically, we've got Dean Morris trying to be 7 players in our team. We're going to concede a lot of goals too. Right, Whiting can come off. We've got Matt Parkin, who's another new boy, or the first new boy who's making his debut, really. Matt Parkin, 21 years old, can do the same central midfield attack role that Turnbull used to do. Can play as a Mazzala as well, though, which a Mazzala is just a fancy box-to-box midfielder, isn't it? I mean, that might work. If we can't get Phillips, we might play Parkin alongside Whiting, maybe. 2.5-star current ability, 5-star potential. Was at Cleethorpes in this league last year. Nothing spectacular there, but he did only start 5 games. Does suggest that he probably shouldn't be starting lots of games for us if we're trying to win that league. But he's still young. We'll give him the opportunity. Ellison's not playing well either. Emmanuel Diallo's going to come on. This guy is a home original. He was here last year, but we sent him out on loan. He was one of these who, just to save a £5 a week, we stuck him out on loan somewhere. He had a pretty decent season, 8 Man of the Match awards, a 7.09 in the division below. He can play right back or centre back. Now centre back is interesting because we're struggling a bit for centre backs. We're gonna get Emmanuel Diallo into the team a little bit more this year, and if he can do a Mick Powell and progress at that kind of rate, we might have a decent centre back on our hands that we had all along through that same golden generation of youth players that we started off with. Right, let's do a final change. Dean Morris. We can't do our normal bring Phillips on for Morris. I feel a bit... Dean Morris is going to have to play 90 minutes this season. How is he going to cope with that? Perhaps the Phillips experiment has to end. Sheridan can come off then. And we'll bring on Sagaf for the last 10 minutes or so. Just to run around a bit, add a bit more energy in there. Sagaf was the guy we signed originally to replace Dunn, but he never really got up to that kind of standard. Phillips just drifting into the penalty area in that corner there, almost sticks it in. Powell is there. He really wants his hat-trick. I don't think he's ever scored a hat-trick for us before, but he can smell an opportunity today. He might not get a better opportunity this year. Morris has just lost possession, and we've got away with that a little bit. Brannigan has saved Dean Morris's skin. The best player in the division almost threw away 2 points in the closing moments of the first match against a newly promoted team. Sagaf plays it forward to Parkin. Parkin, he's dilly-dallying a little bit, but Morris has got it now. Again, they were both a little bit hesitant, didn't really seem to know what to do there, probably because of the lack of quality in front of them. But we have won the match. That's the important thing. I don't know what happened in the second half, but yeah, there you go. Let's have a go at them about the second half. The second half was rubbish. But at least we won the match, and now we go away against Moneybags Grantham, who are just down the road, and hopefully keep the good form rolling on. Let's have a look at the schedule to see when we're going to come back. We don't want to necessarily take as long over this year, and we want to race through this season a little bit. It's another season in the same division. We want to make some progress in this save, so I think we'll probably do a big chunk of league games, get these early rounds of the cups out of the way as well, and come back sometime around here. I'm thinking Mickleover, Tadcaster, that kind of time, unless something disastrous happens and we need to talk again for story purposes. But I'm thinking around about there. Feels about right. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos, and thank you very much for watching.